So when I was working on realistic film halation, I accidentally came across a way to make a realistic anamorphic flare, and I wanted to show everyone how to do it. So I'm going to assume you have set your project settings, your resolution, imported your videos, all that stuff. Now I have the clip down here on the timeline, but I'm going to put it over the top of it again. Pretty much all the effects I do are just their layers. So we're going to start with a threshold, put it on the top clip. We're going to set it to 991. You can change it later depending on what it is you're trying to do. All the settings I'm going to show in here are just dependent on your own how you want the footage to look and how it's going to react. So every setting is just going to depend on every single clip. You just have to play around with it and see how it'll work for you. Next, we're going to put a levels, or I should say a color levels, because we're going to change this to blue. Now you could make this any color depending on the flare you want, but most typically the flares you see are blue, so we're making that a solid blue. Next, we're going to add a Gaussian blur, and we're only going to use the top, the sigma, not the vertical sigma. We're going to set that to 434, but again, that's just for this particular way I'm doing it. Next, we're going to add a levels, not a color levels, just a regular levels. All right. We're going to put the white level to 89, somewhere around in there, and we'll put the gamma to, let's see, 19, somewhere around there, and then the white output to 600-ish. And again, you have to adjust all this based off your personal needs. Alright, and now we're going to add a screen composition in between the two clips. Make sure it's all the way over. Alright, and now it's good to go. Alright, now I'm going to render this. Alright, now that that's rendered, let's take a look and see what it looks like. Now, one thing I did add was I went ahead and added this directional blur so that, because it was a little bit harsh around the edges and I wanted to soften it up. So I did go ahead and add this in. I rendered it, then I noticed this and added it in. So you'll have threshold, color levels, Gaussian blur. These are the settings for the levels. And then the directional blur. And you should get a halfway decent realistic anamorphic flare. If you don't want a blue flare but an orange flare or a different color, you can adjust that in the color levels section. Alright, well that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.